archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
We welcome you to our program. Welcome to Studio One.
Let's begin first of all with your musical beginnings. You were born in Jammu.
Yes.
What was Jammu like when you were a young child growing up there? Did you grow up there as well?
Yes. I'm born and brought up in Jammu. Very simple upbringing. I do want to share this with people here that I come from a very humble background.
All India Radio Archives
So life was very simple, very innocent, very beautiful. And I have, I think, some of the best memories of my childhood because I had a very peaceful atmosphere at home. Before I start answering, I'd just like to clarify something, and especially to you, Suneet.
Yes.
My answers might become a bit long.
That's all right.
Yeah?
We are here to hear you.
I have this habit of talking in details. My problem is that. Even when it comes to music, I like to go into details, you know. So when I talk in details.
We are all delighted to hear you talk in detail, and we look forward to it very much indeed.
So the childhood was beautiful, very nice. And like I said, that beautiful atmosphere at home. Very peaceful, very loving, very musical atmosphere at home.
Were your parents also very deeply interested in music?
They both were naturally gifted, extremely wonderful singers. And at one point when my father was posted in Pune, they did try to go to Mumbai, and I think they wanted to be singers at some point of time.
I see, professionally pursue
Yes,
their
professionally pursue, but they couldn't do it. So I think they lived their dream through me.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so that's how when they, at a very young age, they put me into music school.
When did you start? At what age did you start formal lessons in music?
I
Of course, you were
started-
surrounded by a musical atmosphere at home.
Yeah.
So you must have been singing ever since you can remember, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
but you see, both my parents had not had any formal training.
They
in
were all
music.
self-taught.
Yeah, they were self-taught. They were naturally gifted. So they must have realized the potential. They must have seen the potential. So they put me for training at the age of about 8.
I see.
But honestly speaking, I started enjoying learning in a couple of years.
So
It
by
took me
about 10 years?
Yeah, it took me a couple of years to kind of adjust to the music classes and all, because as a child, I think I just wanted to be like any other child, and I wanted to have freedom, I wanted to play, I just wanted to roam around, because in those days we used to play a lot of outdoor games, you know. We used to be out actually most of the time. So when I saw other children playing and me sitting in that music class doing my riyaz, I didn't really like it in the beginning. But then slowly when I started getting appreciation for it, I started winning awards, I started getting acknowledgements, and people in my school started loving me, the teachers, principal. I think that's when I started enjoying learning music.
And also getting serious about it.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, tell me about your early serious music education, because later on you went on to do your MPhil and PhD in music. That's why you're Dr. Radhika Chopra. But your early education, who were the teachers who really inspired you, and the kind of styles that you really took to immediately?
See, Jammu is a very small city. It still is. Very conservative, backward, small city. It hasn't really.
It's grown a lot recently, I can tell you. I've been there quite often.
Musically, I think it's still really not where it should have been. Although we've had wonderful artists like Allah Rakha Khan Sahab and Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma, who belong to Jammu.
Great artists.
But somehow, so there were really not too many choices. I learned from Pandit J.R. Sharma ji, and I was initially also interested in Kathak, by the way.
Oh, I
so
see.
I did learn Kathak also.
A
for
secret
some time.
dancer.
Yeah, the secret dancer.
Did you keep up with it?
No.
Not at all?
No, I left it at that age only because my guru told me that, you know, it's like riding 2 boats and you won't be anywhere. So you have to decide whether it's singing or it's dance. So because my parents were really interested that I take up singing seriously, so that's how it happened.
Right.
And then this education in Delhi University, whether MA or MPhil or PhD, it just happened incidentally.
Oh, I see. It was just by the way.
Yeah, by the way. I
You
was
had to get a
really
degree,
not
that's
prepared
why.
to do that. All I wanted to do was serious music, you know. I just wanted to learn music seriously. I was not interested in the academic part of it at all. It so happened that, sorry again, my answer is very long.
No, please carry on. This is very illuminating.
It just so happened that, you know, incidentally, we still don't have MA in music in Jammu University.
I see. Whereas we
I
do
did
in
it
Delhi
30 years
University.
back.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
All India
So
Radio
anybody who
archives
wants to pursue it academically has to either go to Chandigarh or Delhi. So my parents decided that, you know, I should come to Delhi for MA in music. I wanted to learn from a particular Guruji here. I was not interested in university or anything. But somebody, some relative of mine told my mother that iski koi value nahi hai. If she just goes and learns, what is the value? Tomorrow if she wants to work, if she wants to take up a job, she can't do it with just learning music. She has to have a degree. So my parents were, you know, influenced, and they thought, yeah, they are right. Degree is very important. Today I tell everyone, no, degree is not important at all.
Yes.
When it comes to music, no degree required.
Yeah.
If degrees were required, then we wouldn't have had any Lata Mangeshkars or Mohammad Rafi's or Mehdi Hasan Saabs, yeah, Ghulam Ali Saab, if degrees were important. So because my parents got influenced, so they said, no, you have to study.
Looking back, do you sometimes resent the time you spent doing your academic pursuits?
Yes, I do.
You think did it sort of detract from your
Yes.
single-minded
Yes, of course, it did. It did.
passion
And
to
also
practice?
it put a lot of pressure on me otherwise, because, you know, I came from a small city. This was like one big ocean for me. And
Coming to
going
Delhi.
coming to Delhi and then going to DU. I mean, I really don't want to talk about it, but, you know, there is politics everywhere. So there was politics in DU too. And I was kind of trapped, and I wanted to do something else. And there I was attending that 40-minute class. It was really not me. But then, because I had to prove myself, because my parents had sent me, especially with not much of financial help. So I had to earn also for myself. I started singing jingles, and that's how I was surviving in the city.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Working
and,
your way through college, so
yes,
to speak.
Yes, I did that. And fortunately or unfortunately, I topped the university. I don't know whether
She's being very modest.
whether I should have topped or not, because once I
course.
topped, then everybody said there is no value of MA. You should do MPhil. You know.
So
I
you were
said,
just dragged along
So I was
all the way
done,
up to a
yeah.
PhD, doctorate
so
in
once
music.
I did MPhil, somebody said, why don't you appear for NET exam? So I didn't even know what NET is. I said, what is NET? She said, you don't know this is National Eligibility Test. And
Yeah,
you
just
know,
for the benefit of our
you'll
listeners
get money.
overseas, I can tell them that it's an exam which enables you to be, if you qualify, you can become a university teacher.
and you get very good scholarship.
That's right.
So at that time money was also needed, because I didn't have so much money. And I appeared for the exam. Again, I cleared it in one attempt, you know.
Yeah.
And then money was very important. And then I realized that, okay, so now if I take a PhD, I get 5 years of scholarship.
Yes.
So a very good amount at that time I was getting for 5 years. And I didn't want to lose that money.
Right.
So actually I did my PhD for money, I'll be honest. Yeah, because money
scholarship
was,
amount.
I was not interested in PhD, I was interested in the money part of it. So I took up a topic, and then PhD happened, and then this prefixed doctor thing, you know.
Very legitimate prefix. You've earned it.
Yes.
Worked very hard towards
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
So let's go down to music now. What were the styles which attracted you initially? And because you are an expert in, Thumri, Dadra, Ghazal, everything, you have done really solid fundamental classical training. But where do your own interests and passions lie, especially?
I think Ghazal all the way. Yeah, I've always been passionate about Ghazal for a few reasons. My father was very fond of Urdu poetry, so there was this atmosphere at home. He would often recite Ghalib for us, or Momin, although we didn't understand a word. But you know, now I realize that even if at that age you don't understand something, it stays in your mind.
Correct.
always. You know, when you grow up, you do realize after a few years that it was there in my mind. Because I was brought up in J&K, Urdu naturally came to me. It's the state language, so we are taught in school. Then of course, I think when I was growing up, I was about 15 or 16, that's when I heard Jagjit Singh Saab for the first time. And I was like taken aback. I was in complete awe of his voice and the style and poetry. I had never heard something like that before. And I realized, I said, what is this? So when I heard him, and I said, wow, this is something I want to do. So at a very young age, I think I started singing ghazals because of him. I tell this to every artist today. Everyone must know the range of their voice. Every artist should know what their voice is suitable for. Most of us don't know that, you know. For instance, I know my voice is not a playback voice at all.
I see.
Because it's on the heavier side. It's not, you have to have a very high pitch, shrieky, shrill, thin voice for playback.
That was the fashion some time ago, but now there are
Even
some
now.
heavier voices also singing.
Yes, the trend has changed, but it's too
changed.
late for me now. I'm talking about myself.
It's never too late.
I'm talking in my context, you see. When I was growing up and when I was trying to build up a career for myself, these kind of voices were not acceptable in
Correct.
the industry.
You're
Today
right.
they are.
Yeah.
But today, who wants to go to Mumbai all the way now to try, you know, I'm doing good work here. By God's grace and your good wishes, I'm doing very good work.
Absolutely.
So I'm talking in my context.
That's right.
So I did realize that my voice was suitable for this particular genre. So that's how I think I took up ghazal, and then it became life for me.
We've gone a long time without hearing a note of music, so I think we must have a little illustration from you right now. Would you like to sing for us something that really caught your fancy very early on in your career or in your teaching, in your learning experience, something which really lingers for over the years?
Yeah. Like I said, because there was this musical atmosphere at home, and my father was particularly very fond of Urdu poetry, and so he would often listen to Begum Akhtar, और जिस ज़माने में अख्तरी बाई फैज़ाबादी थी. So he used to listen to those records, and also K.L. Sehgal a lot. Obviously, we also kept hearing, although like I said, we didn't understand much, or we didn't probably, you know, liked it much at that age, but then it stayed on. And then one particular ghazal of Akhtari Bai, which I remember that my father used to listen a lot, and today I sing it also in most of my concerts because people love to listen to that. So if you say,
Yes,
I can just
please.
sing.
Of course.
आप कहें तो मैं दो शेर उसके सुना देती
Yes,
हूँ.
yes, we are all waiting for it.
ये behzad लखनवी का कलाम है, और एक, this is very old traditional style. So I just sing two couplets for you. दीवाना बनाना है तो दीवाना बना दे, हाँ हाँ दीवाना बनाना है तो दीवाना बना दे, वरना कहीं तकदीर तमाशा न बना दे, हाँ हाँ दीवाना बनाना है तो.
This is All India Radio.
है देखने वालों मुझे हंस हंस के न देखो, है देखने वालों, है देखने वालों मुझे हंस हंस के न देखो, तुमको भी मोहब्बत कहीं मुझे सा न बना दे,
वाह, वाह,
हाँ हाँ दीवाना बनाना है तो दीवाना बना दे.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. So these are forgotten things now, you know.
Yes, people
Nobody
don't sing these songs
yes,
anymore.
Nobody sings,
But
unfortunately.
I'm so glad you're keeping
yes.
them alive and reviving them.
I'm trying,
Yes.
Suneet. Yes.
No, but you went on. I mean, although as a child, perhaps Begum Akhtar didn't make much sense to you, and you were very small. Later on, you were attracted to ghazals by the singing of Jagjit Singh. But then you went on to actually learn from one of Begum Akhtar's most famous pupils, Shanti Hiranand.
Very fortunate. Very fortunate.
How did that come about? This connection and
that happened when I was doing my PhD.
I see.
Because the title of my PhD, my topic was related to semi-classical forms. So Thumri, Dadra, Kajri, Chaiti, Hori, and also Ghazal to some extent. So that is when I was writing the thesis. I had to meet a lot of people. I had to interview a lot of people. That's when I met Shantiji. I had actually gone to take her interview for my thesis, you know, interview her for my thesis. And I was so happy and so influenced by her and by her singing and the style. And of course, she sounds so much like Begum Akhtar. And I didn't have the, good luck to ever see Begum Akhtar live.
Perform
yeah,
live,
because she died
long time ago,
long time ago in 74 when I was a young kid. But you know, I could actually hear Begum Akhtar through Shantiji. And when I heard that style, I was extremely fascinated. And I knew that this is what I want to do in life. This is what I want to sing. That's when I started learning from her. Although I also learned a little bit of Thumri, Dadra from her.
Right.
But Ghazal was something which I always wanted to sing, and that particular style. So when I started the traditional style, a lot of people tried to dissuade me. They said, you know, that it's not commercial, it doesn't have commercial value, it's not going to take you anywhere.
Yeah, because it's very different from the,
But at the end of
Jagjit
the
Singh
day,
style, isn't it?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is something which makes me happy.
Absolutely. And it
At
makes
the
a
end
lot of
of
your
the
listeners
day-
happy, let me tell you that as well.
At the end of the day,
Yes.
it's about my happiness.
Correct.
My
correct.
satisfaction, my contentment.
Yes.
It's not always the commercial thing which fascinates you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the course of time, I also got married. So I had to take a sabbatical of about 10 years, by the way, because I was bringing up my two beautiful girls. So I knew that this particular style doesn't have many takers today. It doesn't have a very commercial, what you say, demand
Prospects
or
and
yeah.
demand,
I
yes.
I knew that this is the thing, but then I was ready for it. That is the thing. I don't care about whether I have 10 listeners or I have 10,000 listeners. If I have 10 good listeners,
Yes.
I don't care about 10,000 listeners.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, but now it's popular again, and you are one
It's
of the people
coming
who's
back.
helped
Yes, it's coming
popularize
back. I'm
the old
glad it's
style.
coming back because you have to present it to people. You know, many a times when I go for a concert, a lot of organizers tell me in the beginning only that thoda simple rakhiega, you know, chalta hua and all. And I say, what is that? I don't know what is chalta hua. So they use these kind of terms. I don't know what does it mean. So a lot of organizers tell me, no, actually we have a mixed crowd. So try and keep it simple. Try and keep very, what you say, something that people have already heard and something which is not very complicated and not too much Urdu. So I said, okay, let me present. Let me just see. Let me do it for the first 1 hour, at least give me 1 hour to do what I want to sing. Then in the next hour after the break, I'll sing whatever people want me to sing. And many a times, believe me, this has happened. I sing what I want to sing for 1 hour, and after the break, I come back and I ask people, now do you want to listen to what I was singing or do you want to listen to light numbers? and they say, no, we don't want to hear any light numbers, we want to hear what you were singing.
Wonderful.
So,
wonderful.
you know, the thing is that you have to first present it to people.
And give people a chance to listen to it and
yes,
appreciate
give them
it.
a chance at
Yes,
least.
yeah.
We have preconceived notions somehow,
Yes.
you know, that this is not going to work, and I agree it doesn't have commercial value, but that's okay. Everything in life is not commercial value.
Yeah, no, when it's presented with passion,
Yes.
then it gets
Yes.
across to audiences, and they
I'm
all
totally
appreciate
dedicated, I'm passionate, I'm focused.
it. Yeah.
And like I said, even if I have few listeners, but good listeners, Begum Akhtar used to say, one listener is like 1,000 people.
Yes.
So if I have 10 listeners, I have 10,000 people in
Wonderful.
my audience.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Can we, on this note, hear something that you perhaps learned from Shanti Hirananji from the Begum Akhtar legacy?
Yes, sure. Ghalib ka kalam hai, uske bhi do sher I'll just sing for you. This is what I learned from Shanti ji. It's a beautiful ghazal. कोई उम्मीद बर नहीं आती, कोई सूरत नज़र नहीं आती. So this is most of all these compositions are based on ragas. So this is in rag Bageshri. Unfortunately, we don't have any music here
Accompaniment,
or any.
yes, I'm so sorry about that.
So it's okay. So I'm just going to sing 2 couplets for you. कोई उम्मीद बर नहीं आती, कोई उम्मीद बर नहीं आती, कोई सूरत नजर नहीं आती, कोई उम्मीद.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful. Really
Thank you.
brought back the times. You know, as a youngster, I used to come to All India Radio, and one of the great privileges of being here, I used to be doing my various programs, but was to meet people like Shanti ji.
Oh, wow.
Shanti ji used to come here quite often,
Yeah.
and I used to meet her, just bump into her in the studios, and so
Okay.
many other great musicians. But
Yeah,
this
yeah.
really brought back Shanti ji to
Yeah.
me. Tell us about your foreign tours, because you are very much in demand overseas as well, not just in India, and you've been performing in Europe, in America,
all over, yeah.
in Africa, everywhere.
Yes.
Tell us something about these programs, and you know how they are received. How is your very traditional approach to music and ghazal singing and to classical music approached? Is it received?
I'm
there?
always so happy to perform abroad, only for one reason. Because I feel people living there are more connected to the roots. They're more deep rooted than us. They are absolutely thirsty. They are hungry. They are looking forward to their own traditions, their own art, culture, you know. So they are waiting for you desperately. And also they follow a lot of discipline. When it comes to people, same people probably if they come and listen to an artist here in India, maybe they won't follow that discipline, I don't know. But somehow, because it is inculcated there, you know, they'll come on time, they won't talk in between, the phone won't be ringing, they won't be getting up in the middle of the song, the middle of the ghazal, and you know, things like this. So it's always so wonderful to go and perform there, and especially we talk about UK, USA and many countries, but I do want to talk about Pakistan too.
Please.
Because I have been there at least 10
All
times.
India Radio
The
archives
kind of
record.
discipline, adab, तहजीब. You see, गाने की अदब तहजीब होती है, सुनने की भी होती है. Unfortunately, we are not trained to listen to good music, to appreciate good music. We are not trained like that. And especially in North, I'm sorry to say this, especially in North India, things are becoming so bad now. In Delhi, if you see, a program means also eating and drinking.
Yes.
Khana and Gana go side by side. No, it is highly demeaning.
Yes.
It's highly disrespectful for the art and the artist. But a mehfil is not complete without khana and peena. Gana is only enjoyable if you're eating and drinking. No, and this doesn't happen there. Even in Pakistan, let me tell you, I've been there many times. Nobody eats or drinks when music is going on. When people come to listen, they just come to listen pure music, nothing else. Music itself is an intoxication.
Correct.
You don't need any artificial intoxication to enjoy music.
Yeah.
It has its own surur, it has its own high,
Correct.
it has its own nasha.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't need any artificial nasha to enjoy music. Sorry, I don't agree with this. So at least this is something which doesn't happen there. That's the reason that one enjoys so much performing there. The kind of respect that they show to the artist, the kind of respect that they show to the art is wonderful, it's beautiful. Nayo lagda dil mera, nayo lagda dil mera, hayo rabba nayo lagda dil mera. सजना बाजो होया हनेरा, सजना बाजो होया हनेरा, हायो रब्बा नयो लगदा दिल मेरा. जोगी बैठा बीन बजावे, दिल मेरे नू चैन न आवे, नस गई सपनी ते रोवे सपेरा, हायो रब्बा नहियो लगदा दिल मेरा. सजना बाजो होया हनेरा, सजना बाजो होया हनेरा, हायो रब्बा नहियो लगदा दिल मेरा.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Such a wonderful, melodious voice and such a deep knowledge of music, particularly of ghazals. You took a 10-year break from singing because you were busy with your family and raising your daughters.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, how difficult was it to first of all take that break for somebody who's such a passionate musician as you? And secondly, how difficult was it to get back into music after the break, when you decided that right now my daughters are old enough to fend for
Yeah.
themselves a little bit and I can get back into my passion for music as well?
It was difficult, Suneet. But you see, marriage was my own choice, first of all. Nobody forced me to get married. Of course, occasionally, like any parent would do, my parents would often ask me, so okay, what is the plan? So when do you want to get married? And whatever. So I decided to get married, so it was my choice. I wanted to have a baby, it was my choice. I wanted to have a second baby, it was my choice. So everything I did as per my choice. And of course, I didn't know that once you're married and once you have children, your priorities actually change so much.
Yes.
I thought I'll be able to handle everything together.
At the same time.
Yeah, I thought it was like, okay, so you're having babies and you bring them up and then you're also singing. But actually it doesn't happen. I only realized that this after getting married and after having children. That no, it is a full-time job It really requires a lot of effort and time and patience and whatever. So, I mean, I didn't plan it like that. It just so happens, you know, that my children became my priority. My girls became my priority, and I wanted to give them the best of childhood, the best of everything. I knew those initial 5 or 10 years, they needed me the most.
Right.
And today, honestly, when I look back, there are no regrets. When I look at my beautifully grown up daughters, I mean, they are such wonderful girls. When people compliment and say, oh, you brought them up so beautifully, I feel proud, and I feel it was a good decision to take that sabbatical. I'm glad I did it.
Right.
Because probably if I had not done it, and if I had started traveling at that time, leaving the children behind, maybe I would have, you know, not
regretted that
yes,
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
but how difficult was it to get back into music at the same level? Did you have to struggle for a time
yes, I had to
get back into practice, get into the routine of riyaz?
Yes, I had to. I almost gave up actually, honestly, because I was happy doing jingles and I was doing a lot of commercial work. I was making good money. Children were growing up well. They were going to a good school. But then at that time, I think a lot of my friends and my family were after my life, that no, you cannot waste a talent like that, just singing jingles and doing recordings or just all India radio or television. You have to grow.
Start
and
going,
you have to,
giving concerts again.
Yes.
Yes,
So I went back to Shantiji
I see.
after 9 years and I started learning again. Yeah, so I learned again for about 3 years, and that's when I prepared myself to come on stage finally. So my journey is just, I think, 14 years old. Yeah, I just started doing stage 14 years back.
Right.
Because then it needed a lot of time. It needed focus, it needed time, it needed traveling. So, you know.
Do you enjoy the traveling?
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's wonderful to meet new people, all kinds of people. There are nice people, there are funny people, there are, you know, these are lovely experiences. And people come up and ask you some funny questions sometimes, and then they remain in your mind, and then you're laughing when you're sitting alone and when you're thinking about it. And so it's all good. Yeah.
Wonderful. How much time, as a professional musician who's giving a lot of concerts all over the world, how much time do you devote to expanding your repertoire, finding new things, and building them into your concerts?
Honestly speaking, I'm also a woman first, so there are too many roles that I'm playing at the same time. I'm not only an artist. I'm a daughter-in-law, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and then an artist. So basically a lot of time management is required.
Yes.
But if you talk about music,
Yes.
honestly speaking, it's 24/7, 365 here in my mind. Even if I'm driving, if I'm cooking, if I'm doing something, music is always going on and on and on. It's always there. And I have given up a lot of other things in life to cope up. For time management, like I'm not a kitty person. I don't go for any kitty parties. I'm not a shopping person. I can't go to malls and just, you know, be there for hours shopping or whatever. And I'm not much of a movie person. I'm not much of a, so there's not much of a social life for me. So no lunches, like I see a lot of ladies going out for lunch and enjoying themselves. I don't do all that because there is no time.
Right.
I would rather spend that time reading a book or reading new poetry or thinking about the next concert coming up, because I have to keep adding to my repertoire.
That's what I was interested in.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And with time I realized that pure ghazal would not, you cannot survive with pure ghazal. Gone are the days when Begum Akhtar or Mehdi Hasan Saab used to have pure ghazal mehfils. Not anymore. Even Jagjit Singh Saab used to sing a couple of Punjabi songs, and do you remember?
That's right.
Yeah, I've attended a lot of his concerts.
That's
You
right.
also must have attended.
Yes.
So I did realize with time that I have to keep adding to my repertoire. So I do sing a lot of old Hindi film classics.
I see.
Yes, I added that to my repertoire. Then of course a few Sufi numbers, then some Thumris,
Punjabi
some
songs as well, I
songs.
believe.
Yes, you have to. You cannot survive otherwise, because there are all kind of people there, and especially abroad, like you said.
Yes.
So now somebody comes and tells me, some Gujarati guy comes and tells me, Ben, I drove 3 hours to listen to you, and I want to hear one KL Sehgal number. So I have to, how do I not sing a KL Sehgal number for him?
Yeah.
Because he's driven 3 hours to come and listen to me. So one has to please the audience in a way that next time also they should be inclined to come to your concert. ऐसा नहीं कि एक ही बार आए and then they say no, we don't want to go to her concert again. So you have to,
So some of the songs that KL Sehgal songs that your father loved listening to, now you've incorporated them into your repertoire.
My only regret is that my father is no more. He died before I started singing on stage. That is one big regret of my life. I wish he was alive to see me sing all those songs that he
was fond of.
Yes, he was fond of.
So on that note, why don't we, in his memory, and to give our audience a flavor of the songs, why don't we have a little bit of a KL Sehgal song which you've added to a repertoire?
Okay, if you say so. Can I just switch on my Tanpura if you don't mind?
Yes, of course. Please go ahead.
Just thoda sur le.
Yeah, this is the wonderful smartphone Tanpuras that
Yes, I
are so
know.
easily available nowadays.
Thanks to
and
technology.
They are
Yes,
terrific.
thanks to
and a
technology.
great boon to
Yeah.
singers.
So this is a very famous song of KL Sehgal, which people love listening to. I'll just sing a few lines for you. है कातिब तकदीर, मुझे इतना बता दे, है कातिब तकदीर, मुझे इतना बता दे, इतना बता दे, क्यों मुझसे खफा है तू, क्या मैंने किया है, औरों को खुशी मुझको फ़कत दर्द और रंजो गम, दुनिया को हंसी और मुझे रोना दिया है, क्या मैंने किया है, क्या मैंने किया है, क्यों मुझसे खफा है तू, क्या मैंने किया है.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Just name some of the singers whom you included in that.
I included Khurshid, I included Zohra Bai Ambalvi, Uma Devi.
Uma Devi is still alive. She just turned 90, I believe.
No, Uma Devi is no more.
No more?
No.
Ah, I see.
Yes, Mubarak Begum, Jagjit Kaur. So, these are some of the Rajkumari. So, people remember the songs, but they don't remember these
Singers.
names at all. So, somehow, this particular song became very, very famous. I don't know how, but somehow. So, this almost became viral on YouTube and WhatsApp. And I must have got at least 50,000 messages for this one song from all over the world.
Wonderful.
I still keep getting. So this is a beautiful song written by one of my favorite poets, Sahir Ludhianvi, and a great composer has composed it. His name is Khayyam. Everybody knows Khayyam Sahab, but nobody knows that Khayyam Sahab's wife is a fantastic singer.
Yeah,
Her name is Jagjit Kaur.
That's right.
So, not you. I mean, you are an encyclopedia. Yeah, I'm talking in general. Gee. So, you know, before I sang this, I think not many people knew about Jagjit Kaur. And I'm really happy that I revived this whole thing, and now people are really listening to her also. You know, on YouTube, sometimes I notice that the views are becoming bigger and bigger. So it's a lovely song. I just sing a few lines for all of you. तुम अपना रंजो गम अपनी परेशानी मुझे दे दो, तुम्हें गम की कसम इस दिल की वीरानी मुझे दे दो, तुम अपना रंजो गम अपनी परेशानी मुझे दे दो, मैं देखूं तो सही दुनिया तुम्हें कैसे सताती है, मैं देखूं तो सही दुनिया तुम्हें कैसे सताती है, कोई दिन के लिए अपनी निगहबानी मुझे दे दो, तुम अपना रंजो गम अपनी परेशानी मुझे दे दो, तुम्हें गम की कसम इस दिल की वीरानी मुझे दे दो.
Oh, beautiful. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm sure the audience has some questions also, apart from requests. So if there are any questions, they're most welcome at this stage.
I have a request.
Sure.
Madam, some tenor of Nazrul Giti or Rabindra Sangeet.
Nazrul Giti, Rabindra Sangeet, Bengali.
Well, no, that is really something that I don't sing. I'm being honest about it. Gee. Now that you've said it, maybe I'm going to prepare, and you know, so that I'm prepared for the next time if somebody asks me. Yeah.
That's a great suggestion, addition to the repertoire.
Gee.
But we are yet to hear from you.
Oh my God. You want to hear a Punjabi song?
Punjabi song, yes.
Okay, so this is a beautiful song by Reshma, who's one of my favorites.
A wonderful singer, yes.
And I have childhood memories related to this song. This was this was about 70s, I would say, early 70s. My mother used to sing this song a lot. And at that time, because it's a very sad song, I didn't like it, because I didn't want my mother to sing a sad song somehow. So every time she started, I would keep my hand on her mouth and say, no, don't sing this. So, but you know, when I grew up, I realized that it's such a lovely song, it's a beautiful song, and now I also love to sing it. So I'll just sing a few lines for you.
Please.
I want to share an interesting thing here. Sorry.
No, please do.
I'm
Your stories are very
going
interesting.
away from the track. That, you know, abroad what happens, like I was talking about my Gujarati listeners, I have a lot of Gujarati fan following. So they also love to listen to a Punjabi song, but they don't know the difference between a sad and a happy song. So they think Punjabi is all happy. So I start a sad song and they all start clapping. Yeah, so they think all Punjabi is balle balle. So I have to tell them that, listen, this is a sad song. So and I said, okay. So I was just reminded of this. Nayo lagda dil mera, nayo lagda dil mera, hayo rabba nayo lagda dil mera, sajna bajo hoya hanera, sajna bajo hoya hanera, hayo rabba nayo lagda dil mera, jogi baitha been bajave, दिल मेरे नू चैन ना आवे, नस गई सपनी ते रोवे सपेरा हायो रब्बा नहीं ओ लगदा दिल मेरा सजना बाचों होया हनेरा सजना बाचों होया हनेरा हायो रब्बा नहीं ओ लगदा दिल मेरा.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Any more questions or requests?
I want to ask you, you're so melodious, and have you ever been angry with your children or with your husband?
That's an interesting question. Angry, yes, a lot of times. I am, after all, whatever said and done, I am a human being also, and I have the right to get angry. But my husband is very angry with me for one thing, that I don't shout, I don't scream. Not now, but when the children were younger, he always had this complaint that, you know, when they're doing something wrong, they're being mischievous, I'm the only one who's screaming, I'm the only one who's shouting, I'm the only one who's, you know, saying something to them. Why not you? So they don't take me seriously and whatever. But that is one thing. I do get angry, but I'm very calm. I don't scream, I don't shout. I cannot even speak actually at a very high volume, honestly, because I know my throat. I treat my throat like a temple. Because if this is okay, then, you know, I am whatever I am because of this. There is nothing more important on this earth than my throat. So I won't do anything that
which might aggravate or spoil your voice.
Yes. So
You expecting her to say this, that she doesn't scream and shout?
No, I don't. I don't.
Yeah, very important tip for all singers.
Yes.
Any more questions or requests?
Radhika ji, I am Rajiv. I work now in the radio.
Ji.
And basically, you mentioned about your visits to Pakistan.
Ji.
You also said that you decided early on, because of the trends prevailing at that time, that you didn't want to go into for playback and you wanted to have your own repertoire with the new poetry also. You said you keep on reading poetry.
Ji.
So what we now today look upon as, for something, for want of something better, a protest music, something like Hum Dekhenge in Pakistan, you know, what I mean, as a poetry of Faz Ahmad Faz or some. So have you done some experiments in that?
No. I am very careful about that thing. I will never do something that creates a controversy. Hum Dekhenge is a very controversial song. I will not sing it. I don't sing it. I will not sing it. I'm going to do a concert in memory of Faiz in Patna on the 16th of September, and they asked me the same question. Would you sing Hum Dekhenge? I said, no, I will not sing it. If Bal Bano wanted to sing it, she sang it, and she created quite a stir. That's okay. I love it. But why should I do something which
I'm not saying you did not sing Hum Dekhenge again.
Ji.
I said music of that, that kind, basically, where you are looking upon the socio-economic realities.
I
also.
understand,
like Faiz said,
Yeah.
Musse pehli si mohabbat
Yes,
that kind of a thing.
Okay, probably I misunderstood your question. I thought you were only talking about...
No, I was not talking. I just gave an example, basically.
Like I said, I do experiment a lot, but it's more based on, I think, romance and ishq, peace, love, harmony, and nothing that creates, that
Unpleasant feelings.
unpleasant
anyway.
feelings. Yeah.
So
music.
on
I
that
don't think I'd ever do that.
So now, I think the question is over, so I can make my request.
Oh my
God. You sang Jagjit Kaur. I believe Jagjit Kaur sang in Bazaar, Dekh lo aaj humko ji bhar ke.
Ji.
Or, if that is suitable, or if you can sing a heer.
Special
Wow,
song by
that's
Jagjit Kaur
difficult.
or a heer.
The difficult choice. Difficult choice. I knew it was coming from Rajiv Shukla, so it has to be difficult. Can you make it more easier for me, Rajiv Shukla ji? Yeah. Can I sing what I want to sing?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, yes, of course. I mean, when you ask with such a charming smile, how can we say no?
This works.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, the smile works for me somehow.
What would you like to say?
How much time do we have? I don't know. I think
another 3-4 minutes.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
so 2-3
okay.
minutes.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, because
Gee.
we all love Roshan. I mean,
Oh
we
yes,
love
yes.
all these personalities.
Of course.
We
Yes.
had a wonderful program together in the memory of Shakil Badayuri.
Oh yes, I remember that.
So that program is still continuing, and I believe you will be coming again.
Oh,
with
wow.
Some personality.
Thank you so much.
We shall talk again about that.
Fantastic.
So at this juncture, anything from Roshan?
So
Sure,
Song
sure.
by Roshan. Yes.
So here, I'd really like to add something that, even when I do theme-based programs, I like to add as much ghazal, I can, ghazal is because it's my forte and my whole thinking goes around ghazal. So like when we did Sahir or when we did Shakil together, I wanted to sing a lot of ghazals, composed by them. So this is one particular ghazal that I love. It's a beautiful composition by Roshan Saab. So I'll just sing a few lines for you.
Please. Yeah.
रहते थे कभी जिनके दिल में हम जान से भी प्यारों की तरह बैठे हैं उन्हीं के कूचे में हम आज गुनहगारों की तरह हम आज गुनहगारों की तरह रहते थे कभी जिनके दिल में दावा था जिन्हें हमदर्दी का खुद आके न पूछा हाल कभी खुद आके न पूछा हाल कभी महफिल में बुलाया है हम पे महफिल में बुलाया है हम पे हंसने को सितमगारों की तरह हंसने को सितमगारों की तरह रहते थे कभी जिनके दिल में.
Oh, bravo.
Thank you. Ji. Yes, Majru
Lyrics
Sultan.
by Majru Sultanpuri, music by
Ji,
Roshan.
ji.
Wonderful.
Yes, like K.L. Sehgal came back to me. Yes. Even Akhtri Bai,
So following on this, can I just ask you very briefly to conclude the way that you were taught by Pandit J.R. Sharma, by Shanti Hiranandji, are you also sort of carrying on the legacy by teaching pupils of your own? Or
I tried a couple of times, but I failed because the children were too much in a hurry to learn. Like one parent came and asked me, "ये कितने दिन में सीख लेंगी?" So I said, "Well, मैं तो अभी तक नहीं सीख पाई, so I don't know." So the thing is that the parents are to be blamed for this, Sunil, because
Yes.
they are in such a hurry to put their children on that pedestal and to take them to these reality shows, make them stars overnight.
yes.
So everybody is in a hurry. It's a tapasya, it's a sadhana, it's a archana, puja, it's a lot of dedication, a lot of focus, a lot of time required for this. But because I think parents are also not ready for it today, so obviously we can't blame the youngsters. And I did try to teach a few children. I realized that they know too much already. So like a few young ghazal singers did come to me for some pronunciation or whatever. And when I tried to tell, and there's this beautiful singer coming up, upcoming ghazal singer, female ghazal singer in Mumbai, and she asked me that, could you just suggest me, listen to my music and suggest me something. So I said, you have a beautiful voice, singing part is perfectly fine, you just need to work on your pronunciation. So I told her like one word, ki beqarar. So I said, aap kahiye beqarar, and she said beqarar. I said beqarar. She says, no, I'm saying also beqarar. I said, no, beqarar, but she couldn't understand. So I told her that, you know, the difference between K and Q. So K is K and Q is Q, and how important it is to say beqarar. It's like if you say zindagi ko jindagi. It's a similarly, you know, if you say
correct. Yes.
But I realized after talking to her for some time that she would not, she did not agree with me somehow. She said, no ma'am, I think I'm also saying the same thing. So I said, okay, fine. If you think so, then it's perfectly fine. Then, so I'm looking for serious children, serious kids who really want to get into this particular genre, Ghazal, and who are ready to work hard, who are ready to learn Urdu, who are ready to learn little bit of classical music, who are ready to learn the nuances, the intricacies, the punctuation. People think it's too simple. Ghazal singing, you just take a shawl and you sit with a harmonium and you become a Ghazal singer. No, it's not that simple. Even a comma makes a difference. एक कॉमे से पूरे शेर का मतलब बदल जाता है. एक कॉमा यहाँ वहाँ हुआ. No, not at all. Not at all.
And there is no age bar. Yes.
There is no age bar.
The gentleman in the audience wishes to become your pupil right away.
He can consider himself a kid.
It's a lifelong process anyways, you know. I am still learning, and I'm going to learn till the end.
Absolutely.
So.
All artists, all great artists always say they keep learning. There's no end to learning.
This is All India Radio Archives.
कोई उम्मीद बर नहीं आती, कोई उम्मीद बर नहीं आती, कोई सूरत नजर नहीं